Hi, my name is Dr. Meg, and today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. I've worked as an independent college counselor for many, many years, and most people assume that means I'm helping seniors, maybe juniors in high school. But actually, I've had a lot of families bring me in to talk to their ninth grader. Now, usually this is a kid who's set on the most highly selective schools, and the family wants to help the kid, be as prepared as possible down the road. Now, this video is not just for that sort of kid. In fact, I spend a lot of my time trying to talk students out of applying to the Ivies and other highly selective schools. If you're interested in that, check out my other videos. Now, my thought here is that if you knew as a family what the most ambitious kids were doing, then you could be in more choice about how much your family wants to participate in that. And also, a lot of my advice throughout my career has been to help students get in touch with their zone of genius, because I find that that's really, really important for resilience and happiness in life, not just getting into a good school. So I'm going to be sharing my top 4 tips for ninth graders. If you're interested in that, stay tuned. Also, make sure to sign up for my free guide, my top 10 tips for massively reducing stress in the college admissions process. That's my free guide, and the link is below. First piece of advice is about coursework. A lot of people ask me, do ninth grade grades actually count for college? And I'm not exactly sure where this misconception came about. I think it's the University of California system and the way that they have students report 10th through 12th grade grades. But yes, ninth grade grades do count. Your student's high school is going to be sending an entire transcript to every school that your kid applies to. So they do matter. They count. However, they shouldn't be more important than a student's mental or physical health, just full stop. And I have seen students whose grades dipped and then, they got support, tutoring, a diagnosis, medicine, and then the grades went back up. And schools pay attention to trajectory. So it's not the end of the world if a student is struggling in ninth grade. The other thing you need to know is that a lot of students kind of freak out. They tell me like, oh no, my school doesn't offer APs. Am I going to not do well in the college admissions process? And the answer is no. Schools, even the top schools, are going to be looking at how challenging a student's coursework was in comparison with other students at the school. So did they take the most challenging coursework that was available at the school? If APs weren't available, then you're not going to get dinged for that. So it's all relative to what's going on in your school. So there's the balancing act between a student pushing themselves as much as they can to do the most challenging coursework and not hitting a point of burnout or a crisis. This is an example of where what's best for a student is also what's best for admissions. It is never worth it from either perspective of a student's health or an admissions outcomes for a student to push themselves to a breaking point. So they really need to be careful to not get overloaded. It would be better to, not do that extra AP and be okay and be in balance. My second piece of advice relates to activities. A lot of students ask me, should I go for breadth or depth? What do schools want? And my answer is, don't worry about what schools want. Figure out your zone of genius. How are you going to figure that out? So let me take a step back and explain the difference between zone of genius and zone of excellence and zone of competence. Zone of excellence is the one you need to be worried about because it's where you can get stuck in your life. It's something you just happen to be really, really good at. Zone of genius is the thing that only you can do. And from an admissions perspective, I have seen the students who are able to find their zone of genius and really tap into that, they do better in admissions. They also seem to do better in life. So activities, especially in ninth grade, are an opportunity for students to just try a bunch of stuff. Just cast a wide net, be creative, and try things because you're trying to find the thing that only you can do. And that's going to take a long time. It might not happen in high school, that's fine, but you're looking for that. And that should hopefully steer you towards things you really enjoy. That's what you're looking for. Does it mean you're going to enjoy an activity every single time? No, but you're basically just trying to suss out, and parents can help with this, in finding what a student's genius is. My third piece of advice for all ninth grade students is that colleges are going to be looking for something I call intellectual curiosity. And the way I would define this is they're looking for signs of life outside of assigned coursework. Some schools even ask a student to list like books they've read outside of class. But the deeper thing is, how curious is this student? How much are they going to take advantage of our offerings at this college? Are they going to go, are they going to spend extra time wanting to know this, go to this event? Or are they going to just be very achievement grades oriented? Schools would prefer students who have a really deep, enduring curiosity. And so I think this is something as parents, we don't need one more thing to do, right? But we can model this in our own lives, and then we can gently foster it in our students' lives by, say, taking our kids to a bookstore and letting them wander around and find things, or taking them to a museum, or just you're looking for signs of curiosity and then trying to foster that more, because it is something that colleges do look for. And also, frankly, I think it's just a good quality to have in life, to have curiosity and to have the energy to follow it where it leads. So this is another example of where what students can do for college admissions can also just be good for their lives. Now, my fourth piece of advice actually relates to the college list. Does that feel premature? Does that stress you out? I do not want to stress you out. Here's the paradox I found. Getting started earlier actually reduces stress. And this is not simply for families who have their heart set on Ivy League schools. It's for everybody. It's for kids who aren't even sure if they want to go to college. Thinking about it sooner is better. And it keeps people out of overwhelm and keeps them in choice. So my advice for any student who is interested in college is for the family to take on the college list as a family project and start in 9th grade. Now, does this mean you got to start touring schools and be really hardcore about it? No, it simply means opening the container and starting to think about it, in a relaxed way. My first piece of advice for that is just to get the FISC guide. That's just the sort of standard guide of colleges. Get it, leave it around your house, let people start to page through it and think about it. I have a lot of other advice on how to build a school list, but for now, let me just say, just start to think about it, maybe tour schools in your city, just to get a sense of what your student likes. What do they like? A big school, a small school, a state school, small liberal arts school, whatever you can do. And then if you happen to be traveling to another state or place, just stop by school, do a tour, just start to take it on a little bit. And actually just opening the container and starting to ask a few questions can be very powerful and can help to create clarity early on. So those are my top tips for 9th graders. I have more for 10th graders and beyond. If you find my resources useful, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and also sign up for my guide, my free guide of my top 10 tips for massively reducing stress in college admissions. Thanks so much. I'm Dr. Meg.